welcome those of you joining us in Annapolis. 52nd all-time clash between Navy and Air Force. Air Force won the toss, elected to defer. Navy on the game's opening drive. 3rd and 27. The inside run has yielded little. That's the second best run Navy's had today, but Devontae Meeks disrupts Nelson Smith, and Navy will be forced to punt.
And so far, Navy has attempted a couple of passes, got about to the drop point for the quarterback, and he's seen his receiver not there. He's had to pull it down and run. That was an obvious passing situation, trying to change it up with Air Force, and they weren't buying it.
First time this year, Navy does not score a touchdown on its opening drive. Had done so in the first 3 affairs of the campaign. Owen White just gets it off. Ben Peterson in retreat makes the fair catch. What should we be looking for today, Randy?
Well, I think a lot of the things to look for, we've talked a little bit about it, and that's the passing game of Air Force. DJ Hammond is accurate, has good zip, and look at the way he can just drop that thing in stride into the receiver. Now, you also have to look for a very aggressive defense. Newberry, the defensive coordinator of Navy, they attack. They give you different looks, different blitzes. They'll be in DJ Hammond's head.
Hammond has been under center all this year. The hard cadence, the sweeping look. And Remsburg is nothing. Navy sniffs it out, stretches it out. Jacob Springer gets the stop. Time now for the Chick-fil-A starting lineups. Donald DJ Hammond III. 5-3 in his career as a starter. That started with a win against Navy, a rout last year.
And last week didn't start. Sanders started, came out early with an ankle injury. Hammond came in and really was the star of the game.
We're told Sanders not dressing today. Play fake, backside pressure, one-footed throw, open, leaping grab, Gerard Sanders. He is his favored target, matched up with Alon Nash, 21 yards.
Yeah, it's pretty consistent. If they're going to throw the ball, they want to get it to Sanders. And when they do try to get it to him, Hammond knows how to drop it in, and he knows how to put it where nobody else has got a shot at it. He put that one high and let Sanders go up after it.
That's right on average. He leads the country in yards per completion at just under 21. Second in America, his counterpart Malcolm Perry. The inside run for David Burdo, and he's got very little, only a yard. Jackson Perkins the stop. But where Cade Waguespack sets up, Randy, you see the path of the football.
Well, that's generally where the ball's been going the last couple of weeks, almost without exception. Wherever 87 lines up, the ball goes. This is a very good offensive line. Marquez is in for Krebs at guard, but otherwise they're intact and very effective.
Navy adjusts, crowded front. Air Force motion. Hammond fakes to Remsburg, flips it out, a little long for Ben Peterson. Incomplete. Well, third down has been a dominant down for Air Force. This is the defense they'll oppose, and Nizair Cromartie can get to the quarterback.
Well, speaking of third down, that's Nizair Cromartie's down. The pass rush, the blitz, how many will they bring? You know they're going to bring 56. Who else is coming after Hammond?
Air Force leads the country 60% on third down. Navy top 10 defensively on third down. Springer shows edge pressure. He fades back. They only send 3. Hammond with space. Hammond flicks it. Caught. And Air Force converts. Cade Waguespack gets just his 3rd catch of the year. Cameron Kinley wraps him up 25 yards.
Nizair Cromartie drops off into the flat. When Hammond starts to run, Cromartie gets up, and by coming up, that opens up that pass to Waguespack.
The pass game for each team so pronounced. Air Force great success in the air early on. Christian Mallard checks in as the deep fullback for the first time. And Mallard on the plunge. That yields little. Diego Fagot, the leading tackler for Navy, arrives on time.
Yeah, Mallard had a couple of touchdowns last week. The fullback position in general was highly effective against San Jose State. And that's really where this whole triple option starts. If you don't stop the fullback, you may get real tired of seeing the fullback carry the ball. And inside their offensive line last week was uber uber successful in covering up blockers.
223 yards, 5 touchdowns from the fullbacks last week for Air Force. Navy pressures. Deceptive inside run. And only get a couple of yards. Paul Carruthers, who got the start at will linebacker, and another 3rd down arrives here.
Yeah, last 3rd down, we saw Navy show 5 people up front on the line of scrimmage. They brought 3 and dropped 8. I would say here around the 25-yard line, Brad Newberry, the defensive coordinator, highly likely to bring a blitz here. At least 5 coming.
Wagasback sees late press top of the screen. Here's the pressure. Hammond, one-footed, floats it, picked off! Intercepted! Evan Fockman gets the INT, and the first turnover of the game belongs to Navy. The driving pressure of Diego Fagot forces a no-no.
The Navy defense shows blitz. Look at all the defenders coming. There are 7, at least 8 comes late. They get right in DJ Hammond's grill, and that causes the errant pass.
Giveaways a problem for Air Force. For those watching on CBSSports.com, streaming concludes after the break. We'll continue on CBS Sports Network, CBSSportsNetwork.com/channel finder. Evan Fockman with the hardware. He gets the pick. No score. As we say hello to all those in service. Special Purpose Marine, hello. Those watching all around the world, soaking up the scene, and on the side of the Air Force, deployed service members in Qatar, soaking up the action, the atmosphere. It's the first leg of this year's CIC Trophy race. John Sadak, the Hall of Famer, Randy Cross. It's been a great start.
It really has, and it's been a lot of what we expected. We've seen some passing, but we've seen 2 defenses that are going to be attacking like crazy. A lot of blitzes that look like there'd be 7 coming and only 3 come. This will be a day where every quarterback in this game, it's going to be incumbent upon them to be really sharp, just to keep from throwing the ball in the wrong place, as we've already seen Hammond do once.
The intensity, the physicality. Malcolm Perry tried to load up and throw a couple of times, but Ken Niumatalolo's quarterback had very little breathing room, and the run game was shut down. Perry got a tuck. Thought about getting down, but takes the harm, and it picks up the first down. Garrett Coppola the stop. Starting lineups brought to you by Chick-fil-A, and part of the conversation in the wake of the Memphis game, get down Malcolm Perry from his coaches, from teammates, from everybody.
Ivan Jasper, Kenny Niumatalolo, everyone. Don't fight for that last yard. And it's so against the grain of what this young man's always been. He's always been a running back, fighting for every inch. Now he's a quarterback, and they're telling him to get down.
And here, issue on the exchange. Ball lost, gathered with a loss of a yard. Air Force says it has it. Air Force football. Turnover followed by turnover. Mosesa Fafita, the big fella.
That's 2 senior captains, Ford Higgins and Malcolm Perry, the center and the quarterback. They got to share blame for that one. That one ends up on the ground, and that's what these coaches drill into these players' heads on both these teams. That is their poison. Their poison is the ball on the ground.
Well, Air Force gets the plum field position. Troy Calhoun's offense back on the field. Hammond feeds Remsburg, runs into his own man. Fockman gets him down low. Help from on high, earns a little more than 2. Well, Navy, one of 8 teams in all the FBS to not give up a single point after giving it away. That's only the 5th giveaway of the year for Ken Niumatalolo's team.
Yeah, that's a heck of a stat. It won't last like that, but when you can do that for the first 3-4 games of the season, that's a sign you're doing things right on the defensive side. You need a negative play if you're Navy here. If you're Air Force, keep an eye on number 7, Sanders.
Inside run here, Taven Burdo. He earns a few. Paul Carruthers the stop. Armed Forces football proudly supported by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Well, 3rd down and 3. Air Force has been brilliant on 3rd down this year. Malcolm Perry watching this with keen interest after giving it away.
For those of you familiar with Navy football, a lot of going for it on 4th down. Don't be surprised if they don't get it here if Air Force goes for it in this part of the field on 4th.
The blitz is on. Toss play. No numbers for Remsburg. Tries to cut it back. Second effort. Ball free. Navy scoops it up. Another turnover. Jackson Pittman wins it. Randy, this is crazy.
Oh, yeah. Remsburg doesn't protect the ball.
Air Force is showing it here.
He has to come back. That's when the head gets on the ball and the ball pops loose. No indication from our officials yet. Pittman definitely had the ball.
Ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by Navy. Navy then recovered the ball down on the ground. First down, Navy.
So Navy ball and Pittman out of bounds. That's a turnover on 3 straight possessions.
Right there, Remsburg goes to cut back. They rip the ball free. See, Pittman picks it up. Yeah, he was definitely up. Remsburg was off the ground when that ball came out. They'll review that more than likely.
It looked like Kevin Brennan, who got the pick against ECU, helped knock that free. We'll step aside. They'll sort it out. Who wants the football? No score.
After reviewing the play, following the fumble, number 99 of Navy loses possession of the ball. Air Force has possession, first down, and 10 Air Force.
Well, you called it, partner. So Parker Ferguson, the starting left tackle, won it from defensive lineman Jackson Pittman, and the Falcons have it back.
Yeah, that's a great play by an offensive lineman. Now you see some of the skills necessary at the college football level, because you know Parker Ferguson doesn't get a chance to practice that much. But as an O lineman in college, there's a good chance he was a D lineman in high school where he practiced that all the time.
He wanted to play D-line. Air Force called him shortly before signing day, said, we're full, we're willing to defensive line. He gets spelled by Adam Jewell here. Hammond changing things up. The inside run, nothing. Punishing contact. Nizer Cromartie led the charge. Here are the big moments.
Yeah, you want action. This first quarter's had all the action you can handle. This crowd's just now catching their breath off of the last couple of turnovers. We've had an interception. We've had a fumble. We've had a tearaway possession change. A little bit of everything. Only thing we haven't seen is a point-off turnover or a return for a touchdown.
Last year, Navy got on the board first, and Air Force responded with 35 unanswered. Berto takes a few for a ride, including Diego Fagot. Earns about the 28. It'll be 3rd and 5. Jacob Springer, part of the pop there. Another big 3rd down.
Yeah, nice job by Springer. Fagot inside Pittman, clogging up that running lane for the fullback. Air Force will stay committed. You know, sometimes fans go, why do they keep running the ball up the middle? Well, if you can't establish that run inside, the rest of your runs generally won't work.
Better pass catching back. Joshua Stoner is in. Following blocks, punishing contact. Diego Fagot wraps up Hammond. He gets the 25. It's 4th down and a couple, and they're going to send on the kick unit.
Yeah, these could be the first points off a turnover that Navy's given up this year. Great defense. I mean, you had 8 different Navy defenders that were there on that tackle.
About a 43-yarder from Jake Conkey.
4th and 2. Stay on side if you're Navy and try to draw them off if you're Air Force.
Conkey. It's good. Well, Jay Conkey officially from 42 remains perfect. McKenny Amontalolo pumped. They hold him to 3. Both Air Force and Navy had questions health-wise at quarterback in recent weeks. For more, let's welcome in the third member of our crew, Sheehan Stanwyck-Birch.
Thanks, John. Air Force and Navy both dealing with dinged-up quarterbacks. You mentioned how DJ Hammond for Air Force didn't start last week. He was recovering from a sprained ankle. Coach Troy Calhoun told us he was not limited in practice this week. And Navy's Malcolm Perry left the Memphis game 3 times with an arm-shoulder injury. He really was limiting his passing during practice this week, trying to get back to full strength. Told us he did a lot of ice, and so far we're going to have to watch them to see if they'll be able to fully overcome the effects of their injuries.
Appreciate it, Sheehan. Yeah, Randy, we've seen Perry load up, but not really unleash yet.
Of the 2 quarterbacks, that shoulder of Perry's is the one that bears the most watching, because the way these defenses are playing, they're blitzing a lot. That means you're going to get a lot of single coverage. That means you're going to get a lot of open receivers. Can he get the ball to an open receiver?
His throws didn't look the same when he was on the field in the late stage Thursday against Memphis last week. Conkey sends this one a little shorter. Now Chance Warren takes a chance. And he's down at around the 28-yard line. A 21-yard run back. The rest of the offense for Navy. Michael Cooper, a big target that could be a big factor.
Yeah, he's a receiver, 6'5", 220 pounds. Kenny Niumatalolo said we've got to find a way to get the ball in his hands and let him make plays.
And Cooper was offered by Air Force, Army, and multiple Mountain West programs out of San Antonio, Texas. Perry trying to shake. Instead gets Kyle Johnson, Lakota Wills right on top of him. First time all year Navy trails after a quarter. Second time Air Force has led after a quarter. You're watching Armed Services Saturday on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Day in the life of a cadet, brought to you by today's military. We look at linebacker Kyle Johnson, who, by the way, with this kind of schedule has a 3.94 GPA.
So that homework starts at 2010 hours. In case you're curious, that's 8:10 at night. It goes all the way to midnight.
And you just turn your brain off and go right to sleep. Malcolm Perry turns the passing game on, connects with Michael Cooper. The big play in a big way.
That is exactly what this offense, both these offense needed. Big play in the passing game, because both defenses are sitting on the receivers, just one-on-one straight down the field. And Malcolm Perry showing no ill signs of that shoulder on that throw.
And they love it, those in service, watching on each side with highly vested rooting interest. First completion for Navy today. Perry, why not? Take another shot, wide open! Cooper, smash, and he's down! Milton Trayvon III, late matched up with him again. A 41-yard completion, followed by a 24-yard
Great
hookup.
recognition by Perry. You're going to see a hole open up right here. Watch the play develop. Cooper goes around from where he lined up inside, and there's no one there that runs out with him.
Inside, and the Air Force D holds. Grant Donaldson, who has starred in the games against the academies, career high 9 tackles against Army. In his first career start, had 4 tackles, 1.5 for loss against Navy.
Both those long pass plays, though, for Ken Niumatalolo's offense, that will back those defensive backs up a little bit. That'll make it more possible to run outside.
Touchdown to the red zone, 12 of 13 trips entering today for Navy.
Tackle over, strong right.
Toss Nelson Smith, standing up, touchdown.
Nelson Smith came out of that Memphis game a little dinged up. Didn't practice a whole lot this week. Looks like he got pretty fresh pretty quick the way he handled that run. Great blocking inside. Nice play call upstairs by Ivan Jasper, the offensive coordinator of Navy.
Drive that took just 1 minute and 44 seconds. And the pass play is a huge part of it with Perry to Cooper.
Well, it all started with the big pass play to Michael Cooper. How do you soften up a defense? Hit them long like this. Then they leave him wide open. Then excellent blocking and play calling equals 6 points. And do those guys love it? Yeah.
I'm Lieutenant Ricky Dobbs, filming from the Middle East in Bahrain, where I currently plan missions for Tomahawk missiles. My time at the Naval Academy was filled with many priceless moments and memories that I will cherish for the rest of my life. Good luck today, guys. Go Navy. Beat Air Force.
Today's installment of Navy's Greatest Legends brought to you by The Exchange, the great Ricky Dobbs. 49 career rushing touchdowns. At one point held the record for most rushing touchdowns by a college QB in a single season. 27 in 09, broken by Keenan Reynolds in 2013. It's a sellout, Randy. It's the 4th biggest crowd in the history of the stadium, and 3 of the 4 have been Navy Air Force.
Yeah, you can see why. The intensity, the excitement of this game, the chances they take.
Benjamin Waters won't take a chance.
Showing blitz.
They bring it. Berto barrels for a couple. Paul Carruthers gets a stop.
Yeah, usually when you run the fullback, you want to run him basically behind the guards in that A-gap area. You saw that blitz being faked. It wasn't really faked. It came in the A-gap. That's why it had to bounce out. But that's prime territory for a linebacker like Fagot just to scrape into that area and make that tackle.
You know, linebackers generally have big numbers when option teams face each other. They go quick here on a weird formation and the toss play that Navy adjusted numbers to. Fagot gets the stop, the ball to the 31, 3rd and 4.
Yeah, Brian Newberry, the defensive coordinator, told us the other day, you know, my guys know how to get set up, but when they see weird formations, an extra lineman over here and an extra receiver, they know just slide over, just establish a new center and get the strength and the numbers the way you want them into that boundary.
Air Force 1 of 5 on 3rd down, has failed on the last 4 with 2 giveaways. And they lose the ball. They fall upon it, but Navy pounces. Loss of a yard, 4th down. The top 3rd down team in America, Randy, is now 1 for 6.
And that was just a snap right into the hands. Hammond, it would appear, never really had that. Watch that. He gets it right really on the fingertips. Goes to step back. When he steps back, the ball never leaves. It stays on his tips and falls to the ground.
Christian Mallard saves the giveaway.
That's where that quarterback has to ride. His hands have to ride with the center to get that ball in the proper spot.
Charlie Scott to punt. Garrett Wynn, return man. Fair catch wave. Brought in with contact. Navy sidelines going bananas. 47-yard punt. We'll step aside. The emotions run super high. Flooded with feeling on the day. Each team, big plays. Back in Annapolis, 7-3 Navy. Dignitaries on hand today. Down to the field, Sheehan Standard Birch with U.S. Navy Admiral Michael Gilday and U.S. Air Force General David L. Goldfein.
Thanks, John, so much. With the graduates of Naval Academy, Air Force Academy. Now, give us the insider perspective, being alumni of these service academies, what this rivalry means between the two teams.
Well, today we're competitors. Tomorrow we're going to be teammates. But we're proud of our midshipmen on the field, in the stands, and the entire United States Navy. And as I said, Dave and I are competitors today, but we're the best of teammates after this game's over.
I saw you nicely shake hands together. Do you have similar memories your time at Air Force?
So for 364 days a year, you can't find any air between us. But on this day, we compete. But we have Navy right now exactly where we want them, right? Which is a little bit overconfident and at sea level.
Thank you so much for your time and your service to the country.
You bet. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Appreciate the service of all those here, all those watching. There's Jordan Jackson physically imposing his will on Nelson Smith, who is the game's only touchdown. Armed Forces football proudly supported by Golden Corral. What's your feel for this one so far, Randy? So roller coaster like in the start.
It really is. But I've noticed one thing here. If you look at the top of the screen, a little more pad up here to Michael Cooper. Just giving him some respect. He's already run by him once for a big play. They're not going to let him do it again.
On second down, Perry looking for his third connection. C.J. Williams, first down. Garrett Coppola on top of him for the tackle.
How about C.J. Williams coming from that A-back slot, which is on the right side. They run up the field. Then he runs a little post corner there. Nice job. Those A-backs can be dangerous. We'd kind of refer to these positions as kind of slots, but they're basically halfbacks in this offense.
Perry pitches C.J. Williams through the first hit, the second, and the third and the fourth, led by Kyle Johnson. Help from Grant Donaldson. Only a couple.
Yeah, the pressure really comes from Fedulum, the safety coming from this area. Look at him come up, and that turns it back inside. That's the key to that play. Whoever's your force, if it's the corner or the safety, they have to get up in front of that back. And even if you don't make the tackle, make the back go back inside. That's where all the other tacklers are.
Perry looking to throw again. The touch perfectly floated. And another big conversion to Cooper. Lakota Wills, Milton Bug hit him after 28.
Well, I think you can officially stop worrying about Malcolm Perry's arm. He has thrown some nice he's thrown a couple nice long balls, and he's thrown two really nice touch passes. Because that's right in between the safety and the corner for Cooper to go up and get it.
Ivan Jasper has been touting Cooper since fall camp. Said he had a chance to be the next great Navy wide receiver as a pass catcher. Toss to Nelson Smith. That yielded touchdown last time and again. Two touchdowns on the ground for Nelson Smith.
Watch the toss to the left. Cooper's over there. Williams is over there. They both get the force. I talked about force turning it back in. They both take those defenders and turn them back in. That means there's a soft corner there for the touchdown.
Malcolm Perry coming through in a huge way. Just under 4-minute drive, and the pass attack of Perry to Michael Cooper of paramount importance. Bijan Nichols nearly perfect on point after this year. Perfect today.
But that touchdown was all set up by the big pass again to Michael Cooper. Great pass by Malcolm Perry, and how about this execution? 4 perfect blocks, 6 points, and about 40 happy faces.
Waters return man. He started that fair catch wave immediately. Navy showing all that pressure. Hammond down. Diego Figo. That'll be a loss of a yard. Hammond trying to upset this game. Underthrows his man. Incomplete. The touch has been a little off for Hammond, that time to Gerard Sanders.
That one looked a little wobbly. Did somebody get a finger on it? See it come out. Yep, sure was. It was touched. See the way it's sort of rolling end over end? That was a nice job by Pittman getting his hand on the ball. That's the second time he's had his hand on a football today.
3rd and 11.
First time was as a ball carrier.
And then lost it. Can Air Force keep this drive going? Swinging out, swinging down, but Sanders has the first down. Kevin Brennan gets the stop.
See, the aggressive defense, it's great. You're going to have man, but that's what you get, because at the outside, it's a receiver and a DB. Sanders goes out, makes the catch. Luckily for Navy, Brennan can make the tackle. If you don't make that tackle, there's nobody else over there.
Pressure shown. Now they're checking out. The Navy pressure off. They believe run. Hammond slips through and spins off a hit, loses football. And down to the 20, they'll get a dozen. Dave Tolentino hits him down.
3 important players, backer, end. Watch the 3. End goes out, backer scrapes. Other backer over scrapes again, and Hammond just cuts right back in behind him. He's getting a real good feel for where and what gap these linebackers are going to be in, and he's not filling it.
This is Hammond's best drive. Remsburg gets smashed. Brennan shouldered him hard. Jarius Warren part of the pop. Caden Remsburg, supreme speed, showed that of the 25-yard gallop in overtime when they beat Colorado, but he hasn't been able to use it.
Well, he hasn't had much in the way of openings to do it.
Right.
When they've tried to run on the outside, you've seen Force just basically coming up the field and denying him the field.
Berto, the deep fullback. Could Hammond uncork one here? Remsburg gets fed on the reverse. And Remsburg thwarted. They try to use that speed, but Warren and Tolentino stand him up.
Now, we've established Remsburg's a 4-3 guy, but one guy that's a 4-3 is not going to get away from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defenders. I don't care how fast you are. You can't get out of that box.
3rd down and 10. Mallard checks in at fullback. They go 3 wide. Hammond one-on-one, just off on the timing. The coverage there as Sanders smothered by Cameron Kinley, and the pressure from Nizer Cromartie.
The blitz caused the early throw. They wanted to get the ball. Working on Kinley is Sanders. If you throw a normal out, that might be a completion.
Right.
But the blitz would not allow Hammond to stand there and step into his pass. Give that incompletion to Brian Newberry, the defensive coordinator upstairs.
40-yard try from Jake Conkey. He's hit from 42. Into the wind, right to left. And this one is good. Conkey perfect on the day, and 0 seconds. Halftime hits. Air Force will have the ball when the second half gets underway. After the break, our CBS Sports Network studio in New York, the Ram halftime report. Brent Stover, Houston Nutt, Kevin Carter. It's Armed Services Saturday. From the sailing capital of the world, Annapolis, Maryland, it's Air Force Navy, 14-6. Navy, the halftime edge. John Sadak alongside the Hall of Famer in Randy Cross. What stood out to you, partner?
Well, I think the execution of Navy once they kind of got going, and Air Force executed pretty good a couple of drives, but I think the defense of Navy has really taken Hammond and the Air Force Academy out of their game. So I'm interested to see how they come out at halftime and how they address those problems.
Yards per play, they're just about doubling up Air Force. The rush yards, the fewest and a half for each team this year. They entered 1 and 2 running the football in the country.
Right? And also time of possession. You saw where Air Force has had the ball almost 3 minutes more than Navy. That's something that's usually on the other, on the shoes are usually on the other foot.
Air Force had won the toss and elected to defer, so the Falcons have the ball to begin the second. Will get a fair catch, and we'll get word. Let's go downstairs. She and Stanwood Birch had word with each head coach.
Well, guys, Air Force coach Troy Calhoun said they got to get better at holding the ball, making first downs, and defensively they need to defend Navy's pass as they had many big plays. And for Navy, Coach Niamachalolo said his message to his team was simple. They got to finish. It's a battle out there. They must finish.
Yards per play, 6.5 to just under 4 in Navy's favor. And they're about 4. Diego Fago denies with the contact. Air Force, it felt like, Randy, we talked a bit off mic. For Hammond, there was only one drive where he seemed to exude confidence and poise. It yielded in that second field goal.
Well, more of those first down plays that are gaining around 4 will give him more confidence and will give this offense more rhythm.
He Can be a prolific passer, but that balance necessary. And there, able to cut it back. He lost what go. He might lose them all. Kinley aids him out of bounds around the 25. And the biggest play for Air Force on the day, 42 by the QB.
Watch the pursuit going this way of the Navy defense, and Hammond hesitates, comes here, and then cuts back across it. That was beautiful. That was great execution.
Berto able to help him too. The first down, Navy showing blitz. Paul Carruthers getting a lot of time. He got the start, the senior. And inside, only about a yard. Let's take a look at what Air Force amassed in the first.
You see the 2 field goal drives. I mean, finishing is something that Troy Calhoun's offense has not done, and that's something I'm sure they talked about in the locker room. It's one thing to move the ball. You got to finish the drive, and finishing is touchdowns. Finishing is not field goals.
On second down, Hammond looking for Sanders, knocked away. Michael McMorris with perfect coverage underneath, and Cameron Kinley brought some pressure.
That's pretty close to offensive pass interference. Great body position by Morris, because he's right there underneath. There's nowhere that he can go. Hammond's trying to block it in front, drop it right down in front of him, but Sanders can't get to the ball.
Third down has been deadly on the day. Air Force entered, converting 60% tops in the country. 2 of 10. Paul Carruthers gets the QB.
Coming from that inside linebacker position, Fago's going to come. Carruthers is going to come late. Watch him read and then go and draw a bead on Hammond. Once Hammond hits that spot and can't throw the ball immediately, he's as good as set.
So here's Jake Conkey trying a career-long 48-yarder. Conkey drills it. 3 for 3 on field goals and his longest make of his career. No elevation at sea level. He's got the distance, and Air Force gets points after the big loss of 7, a conversion for 3. This game got underway with a coin toss courtesy of the Secretary of Defense, Dr. Mark T. Esper, a proud Army graduate, and he's downstairs with Sheehan.
Thanks, John. That's right. You're an Army graduate. Tell us about what these rivalry games mean.
Oh, they're fantastic games. They bring out the best of both schools, and it's full of emotion. So you can never predict who will win when you have a game like this.
If you could deliver a message to the guys that are on this field, one day they're really against each other right now, but one day they'll be teammates. What would you say to them?
Well, you know, MacArthur famously said, upon the fields of friendly strife are sown the seeds, and upon other fields on other days will bear the fruits of victory. So winning today is all about winning tomorrow as well. The skills you build today, you'll carry on with you through a decade or 2 of service to the military.
Thank you so much. What a great statement. It's great to have you on. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Sheehan. Thank you.
Appreciate that. And ain't she beautiful, Randy? Look at that flag fly.
I got to get that for my screensaver.
You can feel
Can I get one that moves?
Get that ripple effect?
Yeah, I got to have the ripple.
I pronounce it GIF, by the way. And here's a chance of kick return. Chance Warren. He's got speed. And Navy's got nearly the 40.
Oh.
Lost it out of bounds with contact. Navy sideline erupting. Oh, they fooled him. They thought Nelson Smith had the ball. Malcolm Perry chipped by Jeremy Fedulum, and Kyle Johnson gets to the 40-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 6, and Perry wincing as he slowly gets up.
Well, that's the reality. If you're a fan of this football team, your quarterback will never be wince-free. If you're expecting him to get out of a game without multiple bags of ice on his body, he's just not big enough, you know, not to take hits that are going to really affect him.
They want him to get down, but he's also their best ball carrier. He's showing a very alert feel for the play clock today. Now following his blocks, Perry to the edge. Chipped out of bounds. Helped out a play by Kyle Johnson. He rips off 13 to move the chains.
Yeah, that results, that's just good blocking on the outside. Watch the blocks by the receivers and the A-backs. Right there, the great chop block, cut block that cleared out the outside. Watch the hands of the defender get up in his face. Does he get poked in the eye?
And that was the prior
right there.
Play.
Yeah, that was the one where he got up a little slow.
Navy gets right up the gut of the Air Force defense. Lakota Wills, part of a group that got trucked to the 21. It'll be 2nd and 3. Nelson Smith, a furious drive.
Yeah, I expect Air Force's defense here to take a chance.
Right.
Blitz, stunt, something to slow this roll of Navy's offense. Got to take a chance.
Only 3 game takeaways on the year. That's been an underscored point of emphasis for Troy Calhoun. Donaldson and Wills deny there at the 20, 3rd and 2.
And they did slant Fafita right into that run. You slant those 330 pounds plus the scraping linebackers. It's kind of hard for Nelson Smith to make much of a dent in that.
At the 20, needing 2. 2 of 6 today on 3rd down. Perry trying to make it. Moody does. Get some help. The bounce. Touchdown. $20 yards for Malcolm Perry.
So, John, exactly where in that run should he have gone down? There is the problem when you're telling your quarterback, you know, you got to be smart. When you got to give up, you got to get down. Well, which one of those tackles shouldn't he break? He is impossible to tackle one-on-one because of the quickness and the way he can dart side to side.
Well, from talking about Nichols and a possible field goal try if they didn't convert on 3rd down, instead the 3rd touchdown. Point after, right down the middle. Malcolm Perry, the maestro of the offense. The pass plays in the first half. He springs free in the 2nd. And the push-ups from lands on far. J.R. Osborne, the kick. Benjamin Waters lets it fly. Pressure on. Throwing for his life in Remsburg. Shakes McMorris. He's got speed. Pass Brennan. Springer chips him, and he's finally knocked down Carter Bankston after 30 yards.
When we talk about the wiggle of Perry, here's a little wiggle for you. That's just a little flip out into the flat. Try to make something happen. McMorris, who's been so good tackling, he can't get a piece. Brennan can't get a piece. After the 4th or 5th try, you got to start thinking maybe there's no piece to be had.
He's a 4.3 40 guy, and that was pretty alert by Hammond too, with Fagot steaming right toward him. Inside run that's been thwarted largely on the day. Jackson Pittman gets the stop, gain of a couple, 2nd and 8. It's only 21-9, Randy.
Yeah, you talk about the history of this game. This kind of a lead, 12 points, that's nothing. That's why Navy can't sit on it and Air Force can't panic. They got plenty of time. They got a whole quarter plus 35 seconds.
When they met here 2 years ago, Air Force scored 3 touchdowns in the 4th quarter to rally back from down 21 and take the lead. Blitz on. Hammond hit as he throws. Flag out, incomplete. But what about the contact between Sanders and Kinley?
Was there contact or a grab somewhere in there around the 30-yard line?
There are fouls, 2 fouls on the play, both on the defense. Holding, number 3, defense. That penalty is declined. Personal foul, roughing the passer, low hit on the passer, number 51. Defense. That penalty is enforced. 15 yards, automatic 1st down.
That's Kinley and Carruthers, respectively.
Well, the foul on Kinley, you see right there, grabbing the arm on Sanders. And the crowd doesn't like this, but you know, folks, whether it's at the college football level or the pro level, you can't hit a quarterback in the knees anymore. Period. End of report. Any questions? I mean, you just can't hit a guy down low like that.
Critical penalty, 4th of the game on Navy. The zigzag run by Birdo. Denzel Polk, who came on for Jackson Perkins, gets the hit, gain of 2. Well, the final seconds fade.
Just a good feel, good bounce to this drive, good rhythm to this drive from Air Force. This is the offense we saw last week against San Jose State.
Through 3 quarters. You're watching Armed Services Saturday on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. 21-9 Navy. Air Force team that averages almost 30 points through 3, held to 3 field goals, and we say hello to the troops in service, rooting on Navy, Special Purpose Marine, and rooting on Air Force and Qatar, the deployed service members at the Air Base. Malcolm Perry, stunned some by contact, came back out of the field. Air Force on the drive. Hammond. Well-placed football connects with Benjamin Waters, and he gets twisted out of bounds by Nizer Cromartie, 19 yards.
Great play call. Great play call right there by Coach Calhoun and his staff. Going with the pass, 2nd and 8. They were blitzing the run.
Here's 1st and goal. Here's a loss of yards. Christian Mallard, Diego Fagot, part of the pile.
Speaking of blitzing the run, how about Fagot coming from the backside? Just goes airborne, doing a little Troy Polamalu. Just laying out, going after that running back with the blitz.
Denzel Polk in there as well, who has filled in admirably for Jackson Perkins. Sanders matched up one-on-one, top of the screen. On the roll. Hammond fakes the pitch. He knew the harm was coming. Carruthers and Jacob Springer, 3rd and goal.
You know, Fagot had a shot at Hammond. Hammond completely juked him out of his socks. That's one way to eliminate a tackler that's in the right spot, is you just make him miss.
This 4-down area.
And if it's 4th and 1, yeah. If it's not, you take the points, kick it. You'll get the ball back. It's only 12 points.
And that puts the import on this play then. 3rd and goal. Pressured. Hit as he throws. Sanders incomplete. He cradled it with the right arm out of bounds against Kinley.
Wow, what a nice job inside, getting pressure on Hammond. Kinley does a nice job, but this story is inside. Look at Fagot and what he fights through 2 blockers. He and Walker get right there in on Hammond and cause that throw to just be off.
The man they call the wrecking ball. Conkey hasn't missed. Here from 26. His 3 makes from 40 plus. Conkey. And it's good. Jay Conkey, 4 for 4 today, 7 for 7 on the season for Troy Calhoun. 4 field goals for the Falcons, 21-12.
If you're going to give up points, you're giving them up in dribs and drabs. There are no floods. You go a long ways towards winning football games that way.
7 tackles for loss. Chance Warren trying to make a play. Not advised. Air Force swings him down for the latest on the Navy QB Malcolm Perry. Let's check in with Sheehan.
Well, guys, when Malcolm Perry came off the field injured, he was just working on his shoulders, doing some stretching, rolling his shoulders back. I was told he has a shoulder bruise, but he's good to go back in.
Appreciate that, Sheehan. And of course, as she mentioned in her earlier report, Perry was somewhat limited in practice, even with the longer preparation time after a Thursday night game last week.
Well, we sat down with him for about 15 minutes. He looked stiff sitting in a chair.
He did.
And that was on Thursday. So that's, you know, that's a week after the fact.
Perry decides to keep, runs into the big bodies, including Jordan Jackson, who was highly coveted by Navy on the recruiting trail and had probably his best career game of the matchup last year when he had 3.5 tackles for loss, all that led to 3 and outs. But Perry's passing game has been a difference today.
It really has been, and you got to take your hats off to the Air Force defense, especially on first down. Navy's won second and third on several occasions, but primarily on first down, Air Force did a good job of blunting this offense.
Perry gets an extra few. Lakota Wills hits him on the ankle, so he gets about 3. It'll be 3rd and 6. Ivan Jasper moved downstairs this year, Randy. First time in over a decade for that dialogue with Perry.
Yeah, just literally more hands-on with his quarterback. He sees him. He sits with him on the sideline. The execution of that quarterback will go a long way here on 3rd down.
Air Force dreaming of a takeaway. They go gun. They've shown this formation a few times today. That's been a wrinkle. Here's the pressure. Perry tries to step up. Ball free. He picks it up. Outruns Jackson. And he picks up the first down. 15 yards from near disaster to success. And he's loading it up.
When you draw that up in the playbook, how do you draw up the fumble? Now, when he was tackled, look, he comes down on that right elbow, right shoulder. So his shoulder is really bothering him after this play. The ball gets knocked out of his grip. He's able to pick it up again. And he's holding the ball in that right hand. But that can be a real problem when you land on that elbow, upper arm area. That tugs on the shoulder.
That means time comes calling again for Perry Olsen, who Ivan Jasper raved about this week. He said as a freshman, he has taken to the position like nobody since Keenan Reynolds, who of course sprung out of the scene when he worked in relief due to injury against Air Force. Go to the fullback, ball loose. Air Force has it.
That's the coach's nightmare. You change quarterbacks. What happens the first play? You change quarterbacks. You don't ride with the center. The ball's in just a different spot, and it ends up on the ground. Watch the exchange with the back with Nelson Smith. That ball is being removed. Now they're going to look at that again. Was it coming out before Nelson Smith hit the ground? Here's a good angle. Is it out? Yes, it's out. That's a turnover. One more time. Just take a look here. Here's the ball right there. It is out, and he is not on the ground. That's a fumble.
That was knocked free by Fafita. Grant Donaldson, who Troy Calhoun told us would see more action this week, has been great against service academies. The recovery. 3rd giveaway for Navy. Toss play. Remsburg. Outnumbered. Poke there with Brennan. Down at the 35. Only a couple.
Yeah, there's several junction points in an offense like this. There's a junction between the center and the guard, center and the quarterback. There's a junction between the quarterback and the fullback, and you see there the junction between the quarterback and the flip out to the back. And there's potential for turnover at every single one of those junctions.
And it came after the freshman was pushed into action. Hammond, one-footed, wide open, able to connect. That's a catch. Joshua Stoner. And now they say incomplete.
One-footed, throwing back. Yep, ball hit the ground, bounces back up. That's when it's caught. It's a good call, right on the field by our officials.
He's wide open, Randy, and that's happened so often for Hammond today.
You know, I don't want to say he's feeling the pressure, feeling the rush. But he's hurrying when he really doesn't have to on occasion. He's not getting the pressure to throw the ball that quickly.
3rd down. Hammond on the roll. Throws underneath. Wagaspack. Second effort. Did he go out of bounds? Where are they going to spot it? Looks like at the 24. That'll be a gain of 11 to move the chains. Jarius Warren helped him out of play.
There's a good example of rushing, going outside, getting the rush, and then getting the completion, throwing on the run.
That's a big conversion on 3rd down. Had been 2 of 13 on the day. Here's the blitz. Hammond knows it. Quickly gets it out to the sideline. Gerard Sanders. Now there's some rhythm to Hammond again.
Yeah, there is. And there's a little bit of a problem with the rush. I don't want to say a problem, but the problem's for Navy, not for Air Force, because they're running into each other a little bit. Watch the blitzes by the safety and the linebacker. That safety gets there. I mean, he makes the sack, if not for Fago knocking him off.
And here a nice inside run, shifting shoulders from Birdo. Kinley and Fachman dispatch of him at about the 10, so it's 1st and goal. Personnel change, DeAndre Williams in, Denzel Polk out.
This is an offense and a quarterback for Air Force. It's got a pretty good swagger, a lot of confidence. And right now, they're getting that swagger back, and that's bad news for the Navy defense.
Hammond follows. Shoulders. Navy try to jar it free. Fago and Carruthers take him out. Some chipping and arguing thereafter. 2nd and goal. Now this is getting down to nitty-gritty time. There's still a lot of time.
Well, 4 times Air Force has had to settle for a field goal. You don't have to be a math whiz to figure out this is a pretty important time if you can make them settle for another field goal.
3rd trip to the red zone. The flip. Stelner. And he is down just a yard shy. Cam Kinley. 3rd down and goal.
Yeah, it's a beautiful play. You flip that ball out there like that, you're isoing your running back against defenders that are moving sideways and don't have the momentum to stop you.
Hammond follows. Air Force believes it has it. And Hammond stopped short. 4th and goal.
I was pretty sure he about got it in. Let's see where the ball is. Yep. Did you see the ball? He over the top of the pile.
After reviewing the play, the runner extends the ball across the goal line. Touchdown, Air Force. Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 7 minutes, 38 seconds.
First touchdown of the day for the Falcons, and the first chance to hear just how many Falcon fans are in the stadium.
Oh, there's a lot. You mentioned how the proximity to Washington, D.C. and the number of Air Force fans in our capital. Good number of them here in attendance and in their Air Force garb.
Now, Conkey's been perfect on field goals on the year, but he's had 3 extra points blocked. He's also straight missed one. And Conkey connects.
Well, all the happiness for Air Force started with this fumble right there with Nelson Smith at that junction between he and Perry Olsen, and it leads to that play, that reach, that 6 points, and you got some happy fans in Qatar a long time ahead of us. What would your handle be? Chunks is taken.
Well, that's a pretty good one. Baldy, that'd be another good one. Long-winded. Shoulder. He shows the arm. Too strong. Looking for Ryan Mitchell.
Yeah, Ryan Mitchell does a really nice job basically off the break because he just runs straight up the seam. And, you know, his arm, Perry's got plenty of arm. The problem is always for most option quarterbacks isn't can they get guys open, it's can they hit them when they're open.
Here's 4 wide shotgun single back. And they run with it. The Air Force felt that coming from Smith. DeMonte Meeks gets the stop. A little north of the 27, gain of about 2. So make it 3rd down and 7 to 8 yards.
Well, the good news is when you get in that formation and they keep a safety high with 2 DBs on each side, that empties the box out pretty good, and that opens up the run inside.
Critical 3rd down coming here. What do you want?
I want my big wide receiver.
Out of the pistol. They go to the ground. Full head of steam for Nelson Smith. Wills rips him back. He gets the 32. Gain of 5. 4th and 3. The Navy went for it on a 4th down in this area of the field against Memphis. Did not convert.
Yeah, you're
Punt unit out
going
here.
to punt here. I think they missed an opportunity there. I'm kind of surprised they didn't try to pass on that down.
Right.
They'd end up punting anyway.
And here's an Air Force team with a place kicker that has not missed a field goal all season, down 2 points. Owen White boots it. And Air Force will have the ball at its own 28-yard line with a little under 6 minutes to go. 39-yard punt, and DJ Hammond back under center. Beautiful scene that belies all the chaos going on down to the field. Hammond has been a difference maker. Under 6 minutes, down 2 points. Hammond off the fake. He knew the hit was coming, and he still connects. Benjamin Waters. Brennan helps him out of bounds. 22 yards, able to step up.
Hammond, great job. Puts the foot in the ground, knows that rush is coming, that Pittman's going to give him a whack. That's okay. Kind of sidearms it, and man, is he accurate with that little sidearm throw. Can you finish again if you're Air Force?
Inside Birdo, Fachman is there. We journey to New York for a scoring update.
Fellas, over on CBS, Bo Nix trying to give his team the lead, but Donovan Steiner with the pick in the end zone. End of 3 in the swamp. They've started the 4th. The Gators lead 17-13, and they are in the red zone.
Appreciate that. A tight one in the SEC. Here an option pass. Chance Stevenson wide open. Benjamin Waters, the trick play arrives, and Air Force inside of the 10.
You're going to bring the receiver around. I'm going to stop it right here. There it is. There's a wide open receiver, and that's not a quarterback hitting him. That's just beautiful execution. Nice play calls up top by Mike Thiessen and Troy Calhoun on the sideline. Completely surprising Navy.
That was his first play of the game. The running back with the option pass. Birdo inside of the 5. Evan Fachman another stop.
Another from the field level. Looks like a pitch, but something smells funny. Yeah, well, that smell is a trick play. Great throw back. Not bad for a guy that's kind of cold coming off the bench, huh? I mean, if you can come back and win this, if you're Air Force, you could be on your way to a pretty memorable year. By the same token, if you can hang on and win in your Navy, after a disappointing year last year, you could be on your way to a heck of a season, but it's all coming down to this drive and the next one.
And Stevenson was a dual threat quarterback out of high school. Hammond a dual threat in his own right. Inside run, not there. Down to the 1. Paul Carruthers the stop. 3rd down and goal. In almost this exact same spot, it was Hammond who was called short down to the field that got the ball extended and broke the plane on review.
Well, if they don't get it here, you're going to kick a field goal and go up by 6.
The best third down team in America. Entering the day has struggled on the day. Birdo. Touchdown! And Air Force storms back in the fourth to take the lead.
After 4 drives that they couldn't finish the drive and had to settle for field goals, 2 of those in the red zone. They get 2 red zone penetrations here towards the end of the game, and both drives finish in touchdowns, and it's just nitty-gritty, getting a bruise kind of stuff.
Going for 2. The fake, Pittman in his grill, incomplete. And it sits at 4.
You know, it all started for Kenny Niumatalolo's defense with this trick play. Little flip out, little pass back, big gain down the field, and it all leads to goal line and a fullback dive for 6 points.
Air Force had been outscored in fourth quarters 40-16 on the season entering this game. A little deceiving. They blew out an FCS opponent in Colgate. They had a tightrope walk against Colorado, a nationally ranked Boise State team, but it is a contrast.
Oh, it is. It definitely is. And it's a great sign for a football team, and you can finish like this. Now, can Navy return the favor and finish the game?
Ken Niumatalolo talks about how mirror-like these games can be for everyone involved.
Yeah, he's in big-time need of some chunk plays. This is not a long, sustained option drive. He needs some help from the passing game here.
3-man front, they send 4. Dangerous pass, incomplete. Knocked down at the line of scrimmage, Kyle Johnson.
Really lucky it was knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Tell you, if that thing's not knocked down, I think it's Zane Lewis at cornerback. He's got a chance to go a long way with that ball because he's going to undercut it.
That was Jake Sawzik who helped knock it free. Ken Niumatalolo entering the fourth with the lead, 74-5 as the Navy head man. It was 21-9.
It was a different game at the end of the third quarter.
Perry on the roll with Smith providing escort off the pump. He takes a shot. Perry floats it. Caught by C.J. Williams. That went from pick to perfection as he beat Garrett Coppola.
I tell you, these running backs, they call them A-backs. They are just incredible as receivers. They're not only unbelievable runners, these young men, while being not the biggest players on this offense, as a group, have incredible hands. C.J. Williams, great example.
32 yards there in his second catch of the day. Perry, reverse it again. Cooper. Michael Cooper. Down right near the 27. That'll be about 8.
You know, you called that reverse. Once he got 4 yards, that reverse was a success. It's first down. You got 7 yards out of that reverse. Now you've affected the defense. Now when you see motion, the defense has to allow for it.
Williams in the right slot, 2nd and 3. Inside run to get the first down. That'll stop the clock. Jake Sawzik to stop. The Navy's inside of the 25. 1:26 to go. Clock stopped while they set the ball.
It's Taylor down here.
Perry keeps. Air Force sniffed it out. And he's out of bounds. Helped out a play by Sawzik, who's made a number of plays on this drive.
Yeah, there wasn't much to do on that. That was wonderful execution defensively by Air Force. There's a team used to the option. Sleight of hand isn't going to really convince many players on defense as they're used to the option.
Think they care about this game here? Perry. Step up and fly. And Perry's down to the 15. Grant Teal takes him out. He's going to be a yard shy. 56 seconds, 2 timeouts. Nelson Smith stood up hard. Fafita and Jackson, 4th down. And Navy's going to have to call a timeout here. Freeze the clock with 4th down to come. Randy, my goodness.
Watch this defense. Fafita basically takes on 2 offensive linemen and works his way through 2 of them. And that's Fafita that makes first contact. Smith comes off it, and then he gets double teamed by Jackson and Fafita.
Navy, one of the best 4th down teams offensively in America, 73%. Air Force, one of the best defensively, 30%, including an 0 for 4 last week for San Jose State.
Double tight.
Perry follows. And Malcolm Perry seems to have it with the spot here. That converts. 39 seconds, 1 timeout, down 4.
You've got that timeout. You have 39 seconds. Now you have the 1st down.
Troy Calhoun barks out the commands. It's all coming down to this. Navy led 21-9 after 3 quarters. First time we see this formation.
Man defense on the bottom of the screen.
Play fake. Perry rolls. Gets past Sawzik. Lost the football. Was he out of bounds? Yes. 26 seconds.
He was in the air when he lost it. That's for sure.
Wow. That was Jackson.
Yeah. The ball bounced out of bounds, and Higgins fell on it when it came back inside.
1st and goal. 1 timeout. 26 seconds.
Double tight formation. Big man football. Man on man.
Perry following Smith. Malcolm Perry. Touchdown, Navy.
That right side, Billy Honecker, Peter Nefsterwitz. That was some pretty stuff by them. Because they opened up, they collapsed that side of the defense of Air Force.
Critical point after still to come here. 23 seconds. The freshman Bijan Nichols badly missed a field goal earlier in the game. Point after is good. 2 years ago, it was 11 plays, 75 yards for Navy to win it. This drive, 11 plays, 75 yards to take the lead.
Perry knows it as soon as he clears that end, that he's got some points on his hands. But talk about effort. He goes airborne after taking that beating. Barely even gets a finger laid on him. Boy, nice job on the outside of blocking, and Kenny Niumatalolo and his staff doing the happy dance. I'm guessing you got to kick a ball down low on the ground, nail it low, and shoot it down towards that returner. Make him return the ball. Keep it on the ground.
Jake Conkey has hit from as long as 49, did so in this game his career long. They've changed deep returners. It's Josh Stoner, the tailback. First time he has done that today. The boot from J.R. Osborne, kickoff specialist, and Stoner surges. Stoner knocked down. 17 seconds.
Look at these deep safeties.
Hammond fires. Sanders one-on-one. Incomplete. Again matched up with Michael McMorris. 11 seconds. Air Force needs to get to about the 33 for the periphery of Conkey's range.
Tell you, McMorris has done a really nice job of hand fighting physically with a guy that's much bigger than him. Sanders getting away with being very physical himself.
Air Force remains under center, second down. Hammond over the middle, incomplete, the timing off. Benjamin Waters did not know it was coming. 7 seconds.
Yeah, Benjamin Waters, actually, you throw that ball just a freckle earlier, he's wide open over the middle of the field.
The whole team has won 6 straight matchups.
There are at least 2 plays left in this game. Your average play is going to take about 5 or 6 seconds to run.
Fourth biggest crowd of the history of this stadium on hand to witness. 3-man front, they only bring 3. Hammond is all day. He fires. Sanders again. Knocked away by Fachman. 1 second.
1 more play to go for Navy.
Now, Ken Niumatalolo told us about the arm strength of DJ Hammond. He can heave and find end zone here.
Well, from where he is, DJ Hammond can at least get it to the opposite 25-yard line.
Well, the prevent is on. Let's see what Troy Calhoun can concoct. Field goal game. 1 second. Hammond slings it.
Here come the laterals.
Now the tackle. Ball free. Navy wins it. Touchdown for an exclamation point.
Wow, what a scene. So do you think this is just another game?
The entire brigade spilling out onto the field. The winner of this game has gone on to win the CIC 20 of the last 22 years. Somebody will bring up this game to Ken Niumatalolo years from now. That was an easy one, right?
Oh, yeah.
The eyes will pop.
Your basic 9-point win, right, Coach?
Malcolm Perry has had great games. He's had huge stat games. This is probably his best game, right, of his career.
It's his finest moment so far as a midshipman. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Over 100 in the air and on the ground, an embrace with DJ Hammond. Incredible respect, and downstairs she and Stanwick Birch with the head man Ken Niumatalolo.
Well, Coach, you told me at half that you needed to finish. You did just that. What was going through your mind those last few minutes?
Why do these games always got to come like this? I mean, you got to give Air Force credit, bounce back. Troy's got a great team, resilient kids, but proud of our guys. Really proud of Malcolm, our team, our defense, our offense, special team. Just proud of our kids.
You got to think back to last year. I know you said you weren't thinking about last year's game, but to come back this year with this revenge, how good does it feel?
Just happy for our kids, Sheehan. Just more important, just for our guys. They work so hard. This is a tough school, place to go to school. I'm happy for them.
They're so exciting. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Always emotional, and that comes from his love and his affection for his players. An outstanding display, a true thriller. For the Hall of Famer Randy Cross, she and Stanwick Birch, our entire crew, I'm John Sadak. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. So long from Annapolis, back to New York, inside college football. Brent Stover, Houston Nutt, Kevin Carter.